Battle of the backups. Eddie Lack's second career start. His first was the dramatic come-from-behind overtime win in Calgary. And a familiar face in a new place. Curtis McElhinney plays his first NHL game since New Year's Eve 2011 with the Phoenix Coyotes. Alex Edler's second game back after serving his suspension. He'll hope for more of the good luck he had in scoring on Marc-Andre Fleury in Pittsburgh. Meanwhile, Port Moody's Ryan Johansson has his mom in town, hoping that might be the good luck charm for the Blue Jackets, who are trying to end a 4-game losing streak. Canucks start with the Sedins and Ryan Kesler up front. On defense with Edler is Chris Tanev, and he plays the puck forward. Henrik Sedin bats it into the Columbus zone. Dalton Prout checked by Kesler along the inboards. Kessler taken down, and there's a penalty coming up to Columbus early. 22 seconds in, and that's welcome news for the Canucks, who are averaging the fewest power play attempts per game in the NHL this season.
They've only had 12 power play opportunities in their last 7 games. They had 12 in the first 2.
So a boarding call against Blake Como, who came in the second man into that pile on Kessler.
He came in high. I think that's why he got called, even though Ryan Kesler was falling down.
Canucks, in those 12 opportunities John mentioned the last 7 games, have failed on all of them. So trying to break out of a power play slump that sees them ranked 29th in the NHL, ahead of only the Anaheim Ducks. Dan Hughes trying to hold the puck into the line. Henrik Sedin was able to swat it over to brother Daniel, who now feeds the blue line to Dan Hughes. Daniel Sedin towards the net, handled by McElhinney, with Kesler fencing with one of the Blue Jackets in front. Canucks Power Play brought to you by Subway. It's $5 footlong time again at Subway restaurants. Do what John did today. Enjoy a selection of footlongs for just $5 each. Subway, eat fresh.
Pre-game meal at Subway. It was good. It's always good.
Still a minute 45 to go on the Vancouver Power Play as the Blue Jackets send the puck the length of the ice. Canucks continuing with Hamhuis and Garrison on the first unit. Before the suspension, Alex Edler was manning the spot that is occupied by Dan Hamhuis, who brings the puck to center. Hamhuis up the left wing to Daniel Sedin. Checked by James Wisniewski. Henrik trying to hold the puck in. Kesler brings it out to center, and the Canucks will try the entry once more. Kesler takes a drop pass at center, moves quickly up ice with a wrist shot. That was partially blocked and then fluttered through to McElhinney. He was able to catch the puck and get the whistle.
Good separation. Ryan Kesler right down the middle. The Sedins give it to Ryan Kesler, 25 feet out, right in the middle. Couldn't get the shot to get through. Curtis McElhinney able to pick up the flutter ball on the redirect.
Mike Santorelli comes out with Chris Higgins and Yannick Hansen, Edler, and Bieksa on the points. Bieksa hustling towards the puck at the right point, holds it in ahead of Artem Anisimov. Dalton Prout tips the puck to the corner. Mike Santorelli is there to pick it up. His pass deflects in front. Here's Higgins on the doorstep, set up by Hansen, but stopped by the right pad of McElhinney. Higgins keeps after the puck in the corner. Prout fell down. Fans thought he was tripped. Here's Higgins as the Canucks set up again. 45 seconds to go on the man advantage. Higgins missed the pass from Bieksa. Hansen hustles to the puck. Higgins back to Bieksa with room. Kevin Bieksa tried to wrist one in front, blocked by Anisimov. Here's Chris Higgins into the corner for Yannick Hansen. Checked immediately by Prout, and the Blue Jackets get the puck to Anisimov, who sends it down the ice. 2 minutes into the first, no score. 20 seconds to go in the penalty to Blake Como. Edler up the right wing to Zach Kassian. His pass blocked. Defensive play by Mark Letestu, and the puck is out to center. David Booth has it. Stick handling in traffic. He risks the puck into the Columbus zone. 5 seconds to go in the power play. Brad Richardson tips the puck behind the net. Booth picks it up there. Backhands to the left point. Ryan Stanton missed it. Then he was able to recover with Como sneaking up from behind out of the box. So the Canucks 0 for 1 on the power play. And the game is still scoreless 2.5 minutes in. Zach Kassian onto the right wing. David Booth pass for Richardson. Winds up at center, and here's Wisniewski to Brandon Dubinsky. Drop pass, Como in on goal, shoots wide as he tried to beat Eddie Lack to the glove side. Ryan Stanton collects a loose puck in his own zone. Both teams making changes as Stanton will start from behind the Vancouver goal. Long pass ahead. That deflects back to the Vancouver blue line. Here's Nick Foligno moving in. Foligno stops, tries to center, blocked by Garrison. Marian Gaborik after the puck in the corner. And here's Foligno once more. Blue line feet, Wisniewski, left point. Wisniewski gets a return pass and a wrist shot through traffic wide of the Vancouver goal. Anisimov sends one on goal, it's in! Gaborik might have tipped it. On the first shot of the game for the Blue Jackets, they take a 1-0 lead.
The Blue Jackets had a couple of chances where they fired it wide. This one, Anisimov just directs it towards the net. He knows he's got traffic. There's two Blue Jackets in front. Marian Gaborik's there with Nick Foligno. Gaborik took a swipe at it. I don't know whether it was off a Canuck or off Marian Gaborik. But there was two Blue Jackets in behind the defense, and the shot by Anisimov eludes Eddie Lack.
Could be a confidence-rattling beginning for Eddie Lack, whose team failed on an early power play, and the Blue Jackets score on their first shot. We'll wait to see if Gaborik tipped it. I'm going by body language, and it looked like he thought he had it.
And the body language of Eddie Lack looked like the puck came back the other way.
Now here's Cam Atkinson rushing in, got behind Edler. It is Gaborik's goal, with Anisimov drawing an assist. As David Savard collects the puck in his own zone and shovels it over to Jack Johnson. His pass hit Kessler's stick, but Savard is able to follow up and fire up the left wing. Jason Garrison goes back to pick up the puck. 3:27, the time of the opening goal, as Gaborik makes it 1-0 Blue Jackets. Didn't want to make anything of his departure from the Rangers when queried about it. Here's a shot deflected wide. But Gaborik has a new home here in Columbus, and he has the only goal of the hockey game.
Leads the team in scoring.
Jason Garrison sends a long one in on McElhinney. He'll glove that, hang on for a whistle with 4:40 gone in the first. Murph.
Lewis Hines of Kamloops could win $1 million.
Safeway score and win. Need 5 goals to win that. Face-off win for Derek McKenzie. Jared Boll throws one across his own zone. Letestu takes the puck and flips it out to center. Here's Bieksa. Up for David Booth. He missed the pass. This will be icing as Tootin was going to win the race for the puck.
Todd Richards not happy with the way his team has played lately. They've lost 4 in a row, John, as you mentioned, and it's the first time they never lost 4 in a row all last season. I know it was a shortened season, but you have to go back 2 years to find a stretch that the Blue Jackets are now experiencing.
Canucks 12-0-2 in their last 14 against Columbus. No longer conference rivals, but they will play twice this season, with the next hookup November 22nd in Vancouver. Kevin Bieksa leaves for Ryan Stanton. Up the middle, Kassian deflects the puck into the Columbus zone. Dalton Prout checked by Booth in the corner. Now the puck comes to Kassian. Zach Kassian sends it to the other side. Bieksa moves down from the right point. He and McKenzie collide. Richardson gets the puck, sends it into the corner. Kassian is there. Zach Kassian in front for Richardson, tipped away by the Blue Jackets, and the puck is cleared outside the blue line. Bieksa tips it back in. Kassian was trapped, and it's an offside call against Vancouver.
Zach Kassian couldn't get out of the way. Kevin Bieksa just shot it in, made the safe play.
Ryan Kessler will take this face-off. Technically, Henrik Sedin, the center on this line, against Ryan Johansson, who's very strong in the face-off department, but Kessler wins this one. Edler wrists one in on McElhinney, who steers the puck to the corner. Third time Curtis McElhinney's played the Canucks. 1-0-1 previously. Here's Henrik Sedin in, centering pass, deflected back by Kessler. Shot attempt by Edler, wide of the goal. Henrik Sedin gets the puck behind the net. works it to Ryan Kessler. Kessler back down for Henrik. Daniel picks up the puck behind the net. Daniel Sedin passes to the side. Here's Chris Tanev trying to wrist one in front. That was blocked. Kessler blocked the clearing attempt, and the Sedins go back to work. Daniel for Henrik. Couldn't get a shot away. Goes after the puck in the corner, but it's picked up by Como. And he's able to find Jack Johnson with a pass. Johnson up the right side to R.J. Umberger. His pass deflects to the far corner. Tanev there. Como in pursuit. He gives him a hard hit. But the Canucks get the puck to center, and Henrik Sedin will start a change by sliding it in deep. A little over 6.5 minutes gone in the first. 1-0 Columbus. Blue Jackets still with just the one shot, and Gaborik has the goal. He's back out there as Mike Santorelli skates the puck to center and flips it in off the glass. Yannick Hansen bumps Ryan Murray. Canucks come up with the puck. Santorelli turning in the corner. Here's Hansen, lost control of the puck. Gaborik able to get it out, and Dan Hamhuis passes over to Jason Garrison. Garrison ahead for Hansen, and that's another icing call with a face-off upcoming in the Canucks zone.
Henrik and Daniel Sedin. Signs of trouble? I don't really think so. I think that last shift is an example of Henrik and Daniel Sedin, how they can control the play, and especially playing with Ryan Kessler. They dominated some shifts lately.
Canucks win the face-off in their zone, and Hansen's able to get the puck out. Vancouver changing as Prout sends one ahead for Brandon Dubinsky. Puck given away, centered by Atkinson, and that was intercepted by Jeremy Welsh, who was in good position to make a defensive play. Welsh wearing number 13 for Vancouver. On a line with Dale Weiss and Tom Sestito. Weiss is in with a centering pass that was blocked. Welsh after the puck. Comes up with a backhander, stopped by McElhinney. Sestito after the rebound, couldn't jam it home. Jeremy Welsh with a good chance on his first shift with Vancouver. And Sestito was there as well against one of his former teams, the Blue Jackets. Henrik Sedin is back onto the ice. As the puck comes to the Vancouver blue line, Weiss had a chance to play it at center. Sestito exchanging shoves with Atkinson as they head to their respective benches. A little over 8 minutes gone in the first. 1-0 Columbus. Chris Tanev bodied by Ryan Johansson. R.J. Umberger went down, and out with the puck is Ryan Stanton. Ahead for Ryan Kessler. There's a lot of Ryans in this game. And here's another one, Johansson. You've got Murray as well. Not to mention Ryan Craig of the Blue Jackets. Although he's not dressed, he was a healthy scratch after taking the warm-up. Daniel Sedin with a shot. Deflects off the far glass. Now the puck is centered for Kessler on the back end of the crease, and Daniel Sedin couldn't jam it home. Tanev leaves for Henrik Sedin. Looks in front with a slap shot wide. Hoping for a deflection, I think. Good pressure here from the Canucks. Daniel Sedin around for Henrik. Cut off by Como. And Blake Como able to alleviate the pressure by getting the puck out. James Wisniewski to Ryan Murray. Como risks the puck in. Garrison plays to the far boards. Mark Letestu there for Columbus. Garrison works the puck ahead, and here comes Yannick Hansen. 4 Canucks to center. Alex Edler is going to try it again. Stopped from center ice by McElhinney. Another right pad save off Higgins on a shot that was heading wide. And the Blue Jackets get the puck outside the line. Tipped back in by Garrison. Canucks tag up and play continues. David Savard to Jack Johnson. Tried to get the puck through center. That was knocked down. Santorelli sends it forward, and here's Higgins. Beaten to the puck, but able to block the clearing attempt. Santorelli's pass to the corner, intercepted by Savard, and he sends Jared Boll away, who gets to center and plays the puck into the Vancouver zone. Halfway through a fast-moving first. Shots are 6-1 Vancouver, but it's 1-0 Columbus on the scoreboard. Garrison knocks down a puck at his own line. Turns to get away from Nick Foligno and skates up to center. Garrison wrists one off the end boards. McElhinney takes it on the ricochet, and he'll hang on for the whistle with his team up a goal. Marian Gaborik has given McElhinney the early lead here at Nationwide in Columbus.
Vancouver Canuck, he and Tom Sestito combined. Well, steals it, goes to the backhand, shot and a rebound. And Sestito was right there to try for that rebound, and 2 good saves by Curtis McElhinney.
Jeremy Welch still looking for his first career goal. You can see 1 assist in 6 games with the Hurricanes. Now a Canuck after coming over in the trade that also brought Vancouver Zach Dalpe. Dalpe assigned to Utica after the Buffalo game. Here's Daniel Sedin passing one back. Left point, Alex Edler. Slap shot, right pad save by McElhinney, who seems to have made the bulk of his stops with that leg. Bieksa. Henrik Sedin. Daniel Sedin. Checked from behind by Tootin as he tried to come up with the puck. Blue Jackets get it out. Chasing after it is Johansson, but Edler winning the race, so it's an icing call against Columbus. It's the search for Canada's next sportscaster. Gillette drafted on Sportsnet 360, Fridays at 7 Pacific. Aspiring broadcasters compete for a 1-year contract at Sportsnet and a 1-year contract to be a spokesperson for Gillette.
It could be James Cybulski. It's on duty today.
Be hearing from him in the intermission. As long as they don't take one of our jobs,
yes.
We're cool with it. Dalton Prout. This could be another icing, and it will be. So the Blue Jackets will have to leave their personnel out there for another defensive zone draw. Just under 9 minutes to go in the first, and the home team leading Vancouver 1-0.
And they still only have the 1 shot on goal, and really only the 1 shift where they had any sort of offensive pressure.
Canucks arrived in Columbus around 6 o'clock Eastern time yesterday, and the Blue Jackets played in Washington. That game didn't start until 7 Eastern, so the Canucks got a big head start in terms of rest between games after playing the afternoon affair in Pittsburgh. Here's Johansson in with a centering pass, and unable to take it cleanly was Artem Anisimov. Johansson heads to the bench. After the 2 icing calls, Blue Jackets will want to make a few personnel changes. Fans react to a collision at center as Chris Higgins picks up a loose puck. Slides it in as he's bumped by Wisniewski. Foligno around to Murray. Ahead to center, here's Gaborik. In on the left wing, tried to cut in on Tanev, who knocked the puck away. Hamhuis one-hands it up the near boards, and out comes Chris Higgins. Pass ahead, deflects off Murray's right skate, and he goes back to collect the puck. Sends it along the end boards for Wisniewski. Pressured by Hansen, loses the puck. Richardson with a centering pass. It was out of the reach of David Booth. Booth collects the loose puck. Power move in front. He's checked, and Gaborik starts back for Columbus. Sliding the puck in and chasing after it. Tanev first man back, leaves in the corner for Edler. He's hit by Foligno, but able to poke the puck forward to Booth, who passes to an open wing at center. Under 8 minutes to go in the first period, as Edler goes back for another loose puck. Works it free to Booth. Across his own zone. Tanev couldn't reach the pass, but he's able to beat Atkinson to the puck. Here's Richardson. Booth ahead of the play, wants the pass. He's in on the left wing, fighting the puck a bit. And then his shot was steered wide off the stick of David Savard. Shot by Bieksa. Doesn't get through. Here's Kassian. Zach Kassian protecting the puck, trying to find some room, but it's knocked off his stick and down the ice by Boone Jenner. Bieksa brings the puck around for Edler. Ahead to Welsh. Nice move to get out of his own zone. Jeremy Welsh has room to move into the Columbus end. Finds Sestito. Sends one on goal. Stopped by McElhinney. Loose puck. Still loose, and the Canucks couldn't find it. After another good fourth line foray into the offensive zone.
Another great chance by Jeremy Welsh on that rebound.
Kevin Bieksa settling things down in his zone now. Shots are 9-1 Canucks. This game starting very much like the ones in Buffalo and Pittsburgh. The only difference being Vancouver doesn't have the first goal. 6.5 minutes to go in the first. Garrison almost got into some trouble there, but he recovers and passes ahead to Daniel Sedin. Here's Kessler hooking one in front for Henrik Sedin. Intercepted and cleared by Letestu. McKenzie dumps the puck into the Vancouver zone. Garrison hit hard by McKenzie. Knocked to the ice as he freed up the puck for Hamhuis. Canucks couldn't get out. Here's a chance for McKenzie. Centering bull shot wide. Might have been hooked at the last second. And the shot attempt by Columbus didn't hit the net. 6 minutes to go in the first. Pace picking up a bit. Prout moves in on the right wing. Through to Como, and he hooked it wide of the goal. Jannik Hansen takes the puck. passes it up. Here's Santorelli in. Higgins to Santorelli. Backhander and tipped wide by Prout. Santorelli gets the puck in the right wing corner. Behind the net for Hansen, who missed it. Stanton moves down from the left point, throws one on goal. Stopped by McElhinney, and the puck was shoveled back to him for McElhinney to cover up. Chances of both.
Another great chance. Jeremy Welsh gives to Tom Sestito, goes to the net, rebounds there, and Curtis McElhinney. Again, that right pad, as you mentioned, John, out quickly to make that save on a rebound. Welsh, good job getting the stick free for that rebound chance.
So he's had 2 of the Canucks' 10 shots, Jeremy Welsh, but unable to beat Curtis McElhinney. 1-0, 5.5 minutes to go in the first. Como to take the face off after Johansson was waved out. And Como wins it from Henrik Sedin. Puck cleared past Bieksa and down the ice, and it'll be an icing call and another face-off. Face-off to the right of McElhinney as we continue to try to add to the devout followers of Sportsnet Murph. I'm surprised he didn't run the Columbus Marathon today.
I thought you were going to say you and I did it before we went to Subway for lunch.
I did go out and cheer them on a little bit.
Yes.
It ran right by the hotel. Here's Kevin Bieksa at the blue line. Wrist shot, blockered away by McElhinney. Como gets the puck, sends it to center. Ryan Stanton tips it free to Kevin Bieksa, who returns the puck to Stanton. And now Bieksa once more. 5 minutes to go in the first. Bieksa's pass blocked. Henrik Sedin trying to help out. Canucks get the puck to center. Here's Jack Johnson. Ryan Johansson moving in. R.J. Umberger couldn't knock that one down. Johansson gets the puck on the right side. Into the corner, Umberger. Tried to return it to Johansson. Now he does. Ryan Johansson to R.J. Umberger. Umberger to the left point. Murray couldn't handle it cleanly, but he's able to pass to Johansson, who tips the puck in deep for Como. Stanton takes the puck away. Can't clear it out. Now Yannick Hansen with a chance to move it ahead. Lead pass. And here's Mike Santorelli backhanding the puck in. McElhinney out of his net, shoots it around. Foligno traps the puck. Pass blocked by Santorelli. Hansen centers. That one intended for Higgins, but out of his reach. Now Higgins tried to glove the puck down to the Columbus line. It slides through to McElhinney, who leaves for Wisniewski. Under 4 minutes to go in the first, and there's the goal scorer, Gaborik. Ahead to Foligno. In with a weak wrist shot, and that's the first shot since the Gaborik goal for Columbus, only their second shot of the game. Canucks have had 11. Yannick Hansen sends one wide of the goal. Onto the puck is David Booth. Prout steps into him. Richardson came in to help out, but the Blue Jackets have the puck. Anisimov stick handling in his own zone. Might get himself into some trouble here. Puck sent to the other side. Garrison is there to get it for Vancouver. In deep for Richardson. Richardson to the side of the net. Puck knocked away from Booth. Now he and Anisimov fight for it. Richardson comes in. Booth after the puck still. And there's Zach Kassian swooping in, but he missed it. Scrambly play in the Columbus zone. Wisniewski on the backhand, finally able to lift it high and down into Vancouver territory. Under 3 minutes left. Long pass, here's Welsh again. Drop pass Sestito, and he tried a shot that deflected over top of the Columbus goal. Jeremy Welsh from the corner, skating well this first period, knocked down, but Sestito finds Stanton. Slap shot, blocker save for McElhinney. Blue Jackets come up with the puck. Throw it out to center. Dubinsky takes control and passes back to Tootin. Up for Atkinson. Sestito takes the puck away. He sends it in deep, and another successful fourth line shift for the Canucks as they head off. Sestito and Dubinsky having words just before he heads to the Vancouver bench.
Jeremy Welsh was a point producer in college. He had 44 points in 40 games in his senior year.
Here's Atkinson trying to get around Henrik Sedin, who tied him up. Ryan Kessler picks up the loose puck. Gets to the Columbus line and dumps it in. Under 2 minutes left in the first. 1-0 Blue Jackets. Tanev couldn't hold the puck. Edler frees it up for Daniel Sedin. In on the left wing. Wide. Daniel throws one in front. It went off Henrik Sedin's skate and wide of the goal. Twins trying to come up with the puck behind the net. Daniel hooks it to the blue line. Here's Garrison in deep for Daniel Sedin, who was just getting to his feet. Puck comes to Edler on the left side. Edler sends one wide. Garrison hustles to the right point. Down for Daniel Sedin. In behind the net for Henrik. Tips the puck to Daniel. He hooks one in front. Intercepting is Como, who reverses to the near side, but Edler's going to get to that. Edler for Henrik, who missed the puck. And the Blue Jackets' Johansson able to skate it out to center. Up ahead for Umberger, who was behind the defense but couldn't handle the puck. Canucks dominating in all aspects except for the little issue of the scoreboard as Anisimov moves in with a shot blocked by Edler. We're into the final minute. And Santorelli steals the puck. Up to Jannik Hansen. Hansen with a wrist shot. Big rebound off McElhinney, but he steers it right to Anisimov, who banks the puck to center. Santorelli trying to go through the defense. And checked as he got the shot away. McElhinney makes the save. Blue Jackets, Foligno. Passes to an open wing. Dan Hanhus dumps the puck back in. Murray couldn't get it out of the zone. Santorelli tried his shot. Now Foligno collects the puck. Tips it to the far side. Held in momentarily by Tanev, but out to center where Santorelli hooks the puck to Chris Tanner.
You're Todd Richards. How do you like the way your team's played here in the first period?
Not at all. 5 seconds to go. Canucks trying to set up a late chance. Tipped away by Dubinsky. And he's going to run out of time as he's met by Edler at the Vancouver blue line. Canucks did everything but win the scoring battle.
Welcome back to Columbus. Canucks continuing this season-long road trip. And in that first period, badly outshot the Blue Jackets 13-2, but gave up the game's only goal. Marian Gabourik's deflection, his third of the season, made it 1-0 for the home team. Now Jeremy Welsh making his Canucks debut, guys. He was on the ice for that Jackets goal, but after that had some moments.
Yeah, I won't be happy with the first part, but John, I think impressed with the other shifts that he and his line mates had.
And Gary was talking about using your size, and Jeremy Welsh is a tall guy, uses his reach very well. Defensively came back, although they were on the ice for the goal against, but there used size and reach to strip the puck. Get a scoring chance. Tom Sestito with the rebound. Give and go with Sestito. Go to the net. Free up your stick. Use your size again on the defenseman. All in all, a good period. Good showing for your first game as a Vancouver Canuck, your first period.
I wonder if he's impressed with the number of Canuck jerseys he sees in a rink like Columbus, as we've been noticing quite a bit of Vancouver support here in Ohio. John? See if they can send these people home happy, the Canucks, who did everything but outscore the Blue Jackets in the first. 13-2 the shots. Now we get set for second period, and Mike Santorelli comes out to play right wing with the Sedins. So some line tweaking for John Tortorella to begin the second period. Dalton Prout had his stick lifted by Daniel Sedin. Ryan Johansson is there. Up the boards for Blake Como, and here comes Johansson with Umberger. Quickly the Vancouver line. Johansson taking on the defense, and puck knocked away from him by Dan Hanhus. Como to the blue line. Prout trying to find a shooting lane. Drills one off the target. Tootin leaves at the left point for Umberger. Gives the puck away. Henrik Sedin gets it out. And back to collect is Dalton Prout. Gets a return pass. Both teams starting changes as Fedor Tootin headmans the puck to R.J. Umberger. Here's Jannik Hansen. Long pass for Higgins. That's broken up. Anisimov picks up the puck and moves in quickly. Artem Anisimov stops on the right wing. Hooks one in front. Eddie Lack able to knock it away. And maybe a little fortunate. Didn't come off a body in front. Back towards the goal line. Kessler between Higgins and Hansen. And here's Higgins moving in. Kessler takes the pass, bobbles the puck, now gets it again, tries a wrist shot off the end of McElhinney's glove. Blue Jackets come up with the puck. And Anisimov sends it to center. Chris Tanev intercepts. Ahead for Jannik Hansen. Here's Richardson, shoot! Stopped by McElhinney, who came out to challenge. Richardson right off the bench and skated into that scoring opportunity off the pass from Jannik Hansen. Now Richardson from behind the goal. Banks the puck to the blue line. Edler tries a shot. That was blocked by Murray. And Wisniewski gets the puck ahead to Foligno. Mick Foligno dumps it in and heads to the bench. Here's a long lead pass. David Booth deflecting the puck into the Columbus zone. David Savard passes to the side. Atkinson throws the puck to center. Boone Jenner puts it into the middle. Cleared to the line, held in by Jack Johnson. Now Atkinson leaves for Jenner. Jenner to the blue line. Savard over to Johnson. Wrist shot wide. Lack might have been screened as that shot missed on his glove hand side. David Booth dumps the puck in from center. Johnson there to collect and plays a nice bank pass to Savard, who escaped the puck behind his net. Hit by Welsh as he leaves for Jack Johnson. Jenner with a touch pass, and here's Dubinsky dishing off to Atkinson, who plays the puck in deep for Brandon Dubinsky, but he missed it behind the net. Cassian had his helmet knocked off in a collision with Dubinsky. Tootin holds the puck in. Bieksa intercepts behind the net. Checked from behind by Boll, but able to bank the puck out to neutral ice. Here's Tootin. Up ahead, McKenzie moves in with a slap shot, and that hit his own teammate, Boll, who's down in a heap. Boll struggling to get to his feet as Welsh is checked at the blue line, and Boll suddenly feels okay with a scoring chance. He ripped it off the side of the goal. Funny how that happens. Jarrett Boll again in front, blocked, loose. Weiss digs it free. Didn't clear it as quickly as he would have liked. There's a Vancouver penalty coming up. Mackling to the bench for the extra attacker as Boll fires to the right point. Prout, here's a shot, kicked out, rebound, Tootin, stopped by Lack. Sestito after the loose puck, and he hit McKenzie. And that'll draw a crowd. Boll in the middle of things. Started this shift with a friendly fire shot block, and then became very involved after that. Now Columbus goes to the power play.
Derek McKenzie hit Jason Garrison a couple of times in the first period, and I'm sure the Canuck bench noticed, especially Tom Sestito. Jared Boll off the outside of the ankle. Was able to recover, as you say, when the puck was available. Eddie Lack just couldn't find the handle in close. The scramble, the Canucks take the penalty. Eddie Lack off the toe, and then it hit Kevin Bieksa, the rebound, and Bieksa was stealing that one.
Penalty is to Welsh. And that fourth line shift was one featuring plenty of pressure in the Vancouver zone. 3:40 the time of the infraction. And Columbus gets its first opportunity with the man advantage. Blue Jackets have scored a power play goal in 5 of their 7 games so far. They come in 9th ranked in the NHL at 24%. Canucks surrendered 1 to Pittsburgh, but still tied for first in penalty killing percentage with the Boston Bruins. Blue Jackets try to set up an early chance with a pass by Atkinson is out to center. Richardson chasing after the puck. He was tied up. And bringing it forward is Anisimov. Pass goes off the stick of Santorelli. Edler back for the puck, tied up by Atkinson. Tanev there as well. Pass back to the line, Wisniewski. Here's Gaborik, wrist shot, wide of the goal. Atkinson, and now Johnson. Wisniewski with a one-timer, he whistled it off the target. Marian Gaborik to Cam Atkinson, cutting in on goal. Atkinson centers, blocked by Lack, and then the puck came back towards him off Tanev, and Eddie Lack is able to cover.
And the Canucks have done a great job killing penalties, as you mentioned. They hadn't given up a road power play goal against until yesterday. Chris Kunitz got the power play goal. That Montreal game where they gave up the other 2.
Still more shorthanded goals than power play goals for the Canucks, 3-2. Here's a shot from the line, wide of the goal. Kevin Bieksa gets to the loose puck, and he hit Higgins with a clearing attempt, but Higgins was able to recover and send the puck down the ice. 5 minutes into the second, 40 seconds left in the Vancouver penalty. Blue Jackets leading 1-0. Blue Jackets trying to outnumber the Canucks, come up with a puck. Umberger does. Here's Tootin. Letestu to Feder Tootin. Wrist shot off the right shoulder of Eddie Lack, and the puck is cleared by Kevin Bieksa. 15 seconds to go in the Columbus power play. Ryan Johansson. Brandon Dubinsky to R.J. Umberger. Now Johansson. Right side. Letestu puts one to the corner. Puck ricochets to Johansson. He hooks it back. Tootin lets it go. Stopped in front, and here's Welsh out of the penalty box. Flipping the puck out for Vancouver. So both teams 0 for 1 on the power play. In a game, Columbus continues to lead 1-0 as we approach the 6-minute mark of the second period. Wisniewski at his own blue line. Passes back, and McElhinney tips the puck free to Murray. Pass up the middle. Here comes Foligno. Drops for Jenner. Back to Foligno, who bobbled the puck, and Daniel Sedin has it, hooking it ahead to brother Henrik. Hansen with the Twins for this shift. Daniel in front, cuts to the backhand, cutting in on goal, and he went right over top of McElhinney. Daniel's in the net. Here's Stanton dishing off. Hamhuis with a shot, stopped by McElhinney. Rebound comes to the blue line, held in by Stanton. Daniel Sedin just collecting his stick after going head over heels into the Columbus goal. Here's a centering pass. Hansen trying to come up with a puck, but it's fed ahead to Boone Jenner, and he skates through center with McKenzie. Jenner checked, and the Canucks have a 2-on-1 if they hurry. Daniel Sedin down the right side. Daniel cuts to the slot. Daniel trying to find someone to drop the puck to. Threw it in front for Henrik, but that pass didn't work. Blue Jackets have numbers now. Jenner at the end of a shift, but he'll skate forward to Foligno. Foligno in, shoots, stopped by Lack. Rebound, Foligno stopped again, and Lack covers the puck. After each team had a chance with an odd man rush, Daniel Sedin earlier, a good chance for Vancouver, and he wound up in the net, but the puck did not.
Shots on goal are 16-9. I like this. Eddie Lack, shoulders up, finds the puck, looks around the screen, and when you're killing penalties, your goaltender's your best part, and Eddie Lack was on that one.
Shots are 7-3 Blue Jackets here in the second after the Canucks dominated that category in period 1. Gaborik still with the game's only goal, and a penalty at center. A hooking call against Columbus, and the Canucks get their second power play as Don Van Massenhoven sends Nick Foligno to the box.
And Nick Foligno saying, well, I let my stick go, but he held on to it for a while. Got the stick. And he was saying that David Booth held on to it, but he had it underneath his arm to start with.
I'd say it might have been a chicken wing play, but I know you'd get hungry.
Yes.
I can tell you're hungry every time I say Umberger. Second power play for the Canucks, trying to end an 0 for 13 run. Kessler checks Savard in the corner. Henrik Sedin gets the puck behind the net, banks it back to Jason Garrison. See if they can set up Garrison for some point shots. Daniel, Edler, Garrison, wide. So Edler back on the first unit power play after Dan Hamhuis played the left point on the first opportunity. Edler's after the puck in the left wing corner, sends one across to Henrik Sedin in front, trying to find Daniel. Cleared away, but held in by Garrison. Henrik Sedin, Edler sneaking in back door. Pass comes to Daniel, over to Edler. Edler tried to feed back to Daniel Sedin. That's broken up, but Garrison keeps the puck alive. Henrik to Daniel, shoots just wide. Daniel has one of Vancouver's 2 power play goals this season. Here's Garrison, broke his stick. Kessler taken down in front, and the puck is cleared down the ice.
Kessler complaining to Don Van Massenhoven, not getting the call.
Here's Kevin Bieksa through center. Left side pass, Santorelli leaves for Higgins, but now what do we have,
Canucks too many men on the ice again.
So second game in a row, the Canucks are called for too many players on the ice, and there goes the power play. Third bench minor of the young season for John Tortorella's team.
Pass comes right to the Canuck bench. You see the players going off, and here comes the pass. Now, as the players are jumping on and jumping off, it gets to be a matter of how close do you have to be.
So they're saying Hamhuis jumped for Edler too soon, I guess. But he wasn't the one who took the pass, it was Higgins. So that might be John Tortorella's beef, because Edler was very close when Hamhuis jumped on, and it wasn't Hamhuis who became involved in the play, I think.
There was 6 guys on the ice, but
Right.
they were very close to the bench. And as you say, it was the defenseman was the guy changing that made the extra man, and it was the forward who touched it.
In any event, it's 4-on-4 for the next 52 seconds before Columbus stands to go on an abbreviated power play of its own. Hamhuis out with the puck. Leaves for Bieksa. He's in on the right wing. Trying to go wide on Teuton. Puck deflects in front. No Canuck there to get a stick on it. And Teuton's able to shovel it ahead to Marian Gaborik. Up the left wing, and Anisimov. Centering pass. Here's Gaborik. And was in too tight. Couldn't reach the puck. Higgins and Santorelli, the 2 men back here, as Bieksa was hoping for a lead pass at center. Now here's one to Higgins. Moving in on Prout. Higgins. Down the boards for Santorelli, working on Teuton. Santorelli for Higgins. Santorelli goes to the net. Higgins banks the puck for Edler. Edler leaves for Santorelli, cutting in front. He shoots. McElhinney the save. Higgins gets the loose puck. He's checked. And the Blue Jackets are now on a power play. There's a minute left, and here's Foligno, who stepped out of the penalty box. Over to Marian Gaborik. Checked by Edler. Couldn't find the puck in his skates. Now the Canucks bank it to the near side. Tanev took a long way around the net. That allowed Murray to get to the puck first, but now Santorelli's able to come over and help out. End of his shift. He's hooked, and there'll be a penalty to Columbus. Another hooking call as Santorelli had the stick of Umberger, I think, around the hip.
Mike Santorelli just kept the feet going.
Pardon me, it was Ryan Murray.
Santorelli keeps the feet going, and Murray reached around. Alexander goes in towards the net. It opens up some room for Mike Santorelli, and Curtis McElhinney comes out, takes it off the shoulder.
So back to 4-on-4 for 39 seconds. And then the Canucks will be back to the power play. Ryan Kessler has a stick issue, so he'll head to the bench. Kessler and Hansen up front of the 4-on-4. Hamhuis and Bieksa are the blue liners. Kessler wins a face-off. Hamhuis slap shot, and that hit a leg and went wide. Jack Johnson hustles to the loose puck. 3 Blue Jackets through center. Johnson in with a pass for Ryan Johansson. Hamhuis takes it away. Fires up for Kessler. Tried to glove the puck down, but the Blue Jackets have it. Here's Davinsky with room. Wrist shot, and getting a piece of that was Hamhuis to deflect it wide. 10 seconds to go in the 4-on-4. As Bieksa loses the puck, Umberger centers. Wisniewski hooked from behind, and then Lack had to make a save in tight. Canucks could have gotten a penalty on that one. Looked like Wisniewski was hooked as he was loading up to shoot. Weiss has left the penalty box after serving the bench minor, and Vancouver's on the power play for the 3rd time in the game. Johnson under pressure, works the puck ahead to Dubinsky, but he can't move it out. Henrik Sedin to Daniel Sedin. Puts one on goal. Kessler on the backhand, stopped by McElhinney. They jam away. It's in.
It's in.
The Canucks have scored on the power play. They were all jamming away at the pads. It might have been Daniel Sedin. We'll have to wait to see a replay. And now some rough stuff in front after Vancouver ties the game at 1.
Well, Ryan Kessler threw the legs on the backhand, and Curtis McElhinney couldn't grab it. It was in his pads, and he just couldn't get it. Ryan Kessler, nice position in front, backhand through the legs. Jason Garrison's there, and I don't know who's going to get credit for this one. Kessler takes the cross check off his skate. Curtis McElhinney with a good save off his toe, but he never did have it.
Might be Garrison.
It's off the toe. Curtis McElhinney can't find it. Henrik Sedin. I think it's Henrik Sedin. If I'm going to pick out of the, I'm saying Henrik Sedin. It's a goal.
Blue Jackets will argue you're not allowed to push the goalie, push the pads back. That's not reviewable, but it is something the referee can call. But the only things that would be reviewable are where if it's kicked or gloved in.
Curtis McElhinney doesn't have it. Hendrick comes in. The puck's through Curtis McElhinney's legs. Can't see it there, but it's already in. Don Van Massenhoven's right on it. He's pointing to the puck that's in. And the Canucks are standing at center ice.
So now we await the decision on whether it's that man's goal or someone else. But we do know that the Canucks, on a power play goal, have tied the hockey game at 1. Fans still voicing their displeasure as action resumes. And Alex Edler passes to Chris Tanev. Ahead to center, Richardson couldn't take the pass cleanly, and Prout sends the puck to Derek McKenzie. Ahead to Jarrett Bowl, who deflects the puck through. Edler. Bowl went to hit him, but Edler saw him coming. Booth after the puck at center. Turns and sends it in deep. Tootin dumps the puck around to center. Over to pick it up is Jason Garrison. Right again, King Friday.
Thank you.
Hendrik Sedin giving credit for the goal. As in with a shot off the left wing is Chris Higgins, handled by McAleer.
Goal scored by 33.
He hangs on for a whistle. Hendrik Sedin, the Canuck captain, has tied the game. It's 1-1 in Columbus.
Back to Columbus, where the Safeway featured participating product for tonight's game is Kraft Peanut Butter.
Here's another look at it. Ryan Kesler with a sweet little move, and then Hendrik Sedin, hungry on the puck, gets it to go by Curtis McElhinney. Don Van Massenhoven's right there. McElhinney never did have it.
And a winner on score and win for the Hendrik Sedin goal. Sandra Pritchard of Williams Lake swiped a free club card on behalf of Safeway and Kraft Peanut Butter. Sandra, you won a $250 gift card from Visions Electronics.
You know, Kraft Peanut Butter, now you can get it honey flavored too.
Seriously?
Yeah, honey
Like
and peanut butter
you.
together. It's delicious.
Good on anything, I believe, are your words usually.
Yes.
You do remind me of Homer Simpson sometimes. remember when he came up with nuts and gum?
For help finding the best tires for your vehicle and your budget, talk to Cal during our Don't Wait for Winter sale, featuring the Michelin LTX Winter. Sale ends November 2nd.
We had the board of Hendrik Sedin struggling. He's got 12 points.
Yeah.
A lot of guys in the league would like to struggle with 12 points.
Leads the league in assists.
He's only had one game where he hasn't had a point, and that was the 4-1 loss to San Jose.
The last few games, he's been getting points when Daniel hasn't, and they are always in such lockstep when it comes to their career totals. Hendrik, you could argue ahead, mainly because Daniel's missed more games while Hendrik's had the Ironman streak. Here's Gaborik in tight, checked by Jason Garrison as he tried to pull the puck out front. Now Anisimov, blue line feed intercepted by Kesler. Kesler hoping for a return feed from Higgins. Wound up sliding into the end boards. Puck held in by Stanton. Prout, bodied by Weiss, who gets a turn here with different line mates. Now Higgins goes down under the check of Anisimov. Foligno out. Here's Gaborik taking on a couple of Canucks, and the numbers won that. Here's a lead pass. Sestito moving in. Sestito shovels one in front, out of the reach of Jeremy Welsh. Sestito throws a hit. Bieksa holds the puck in. Sends one in front. Weiss was ducking for cover. Now another shot from the other side goes wide. Bieksa at the right point. In deep for Sestito. Couldn't handle the puck, and Wisniewski winds up with it for Columbus, lifting it out to center and down into the Vancouver zone. This will be icing. And the Canucks will get a face-off against some weary Columbus legs.
Now this might be a timeout for Todd Richards. They have been out for a while.
Hendrik Sedin, Daniel Sedin, and Mike Santorelli out for Vancouver. clean out, waved out on purpose.
There's the stall play.
Yeah. Buys team an extra 10 seconds or so of rest. And another icing call upcoming. Oh no, it's waved off, didn't get there. Here's Tanev. Up for Daniel Sedin, who tips the puck into the Columbus zone. McElhinney out of his net, plays the puck to the corner. Murray there, can't get it by Daniel Sedin, who feeds back to Tanev. Waiting for traffic. Tanev, slap shot, block, gets it again. Chris Tanev. Left point, Edler slaps one, right pad saved by McElhinney. Here's Dubinsky. And sending it out is Blake Como. Henrik Sedin and drop past Daniel Sinners, and that went through the legs of Alex Edler. Umberger ahead to Blake Como. Shot attempt blocked by Tanev. Dubinsky after the puck for Columbus. Comes up with it coming out of the corner. Checked by Santorelli, who turns deep in his own zone, leaves for Alex Edler. Passes back to Tanev. 5.5 minutes left, second period, a 1-1 tie. As the Canucks look to extend their run of dominance against this Columbus team. Boone Jenner in, pass to Ryan Johansson, who let go of the one-timer, blockered away by Eddie Lack. Tanev and Edler have been out there a while. They'd like to get off on a change. As Edler dumps the puck around, Santorelli too. Sedin's left a while ago, and now Santorelli taken down. And a penalty coming up, I think.
Over the glass.
Okay, all right. Santorelli from inside his own blue line put the puck into the seats. So Columbus power play in a tie game when we return.
Here's Mike Santorelli. He's trying to flip that puck out. He had his back to it, caught it on the toe, and it was over the glass, and the delay of game penalty.
Even out there a while, like Edler and Tanev, all three wanted to get off the ice, but the clearing attempt gone awry, and power play number 3 for Columbus. You have to pay for a ticket if you're that age. Here's Letestu, slap shot, glove save by Eddie Lapp. And he hangs on for the whistle with just 7 seconds elapsed in the penalty to Mike Santorelli.
And a nice job by Eddie Lack again, finding this puck. Lots of traffic in front. Look, look, look. Get down where you can find it. Out goes the left hand to make the save.
12 shots for the Blue Jackets, 10 of them here in the second period. Canucks have 21, 8 in the middle frame. Game tied at 1, 5 minutes to go in the second. Here's Dubinsky. Pressure by Tanev, who winds up with the puck, can't get it by Dubinsky. Now a chance for Edler to clear, and he'll take his time. Send a long one. Oh, was that inside the blue line? It was.
Yes.
Alex Edler's going to head to the penalty box as he shot it over the glass behind the Columbus goal. And he's just learning his fate right now. Where was he when he shot it?
Okay, he's in his own zone. About 2 feet. Going. He's trying to play it off the boards to Chris Higgins. But instead, it's over the glass, and Alex Edler is now off for delay of game.
You may not like the rule, but you can't really argue the call unless they're saying it deflected off somebody in the neutral zone, but I don't think it did. And a 2-man advantage for Columbus for over a minute and a half. And now Todd Richards takes his timeout.
Going. Football Sunday, that's a field goal down the middle. A 54-yarder. Canuck penalties they've had now, 2 delay of games and a too many men on the ice penalty.
While we take a break before the 2-man advantage, a reminder about UEFA Champions League Tuesday at 11:30 a.m. on all Sportsnet channels. 11:30 Pacific. Canucks will send out Hughes, Tanev, and Kessler.
Boy, how long is this timeout? It's the longest timeout I've ever seen.
This may feel like a long minute and a half for Eddie Lapp. Hughes Tanev, Kessler. Up front for Columbus, Dubinsky, Gaborik, and Anisimov, with Tootin on the blue line with Jack Johnson, and an important face-off win and an early clear for the Canucks. Dubinsky back in on the right wing. Blue line feed, Johnson. Now Tootin, they'll switch sides. Johnson takes the pass. Here's Gaborik to Jack Johnson. He shoots, blocked in front, and Tanev able to get the rebound and clear it out. Canucks will continue with the same 3 penalty killers. The added challenge being down 2 men. It's the long change here in the second. You got to be sure. Here's Johnson. Minute to go on the 2-man advantage. Tootin to Gaborik. Marian Gaborik. Feder Tootin hit the post. Rebound comes to Johnson. Down to Gaborik. Might have been the underside of the bar, but it stayed out, and Gaborik has the puck behind the net. Blue line feed, Tootin, who came close. Down to Gaborik. 35 seconds to go in the first penalty. Jack Johnson, touch pass, Tootin to Johnson. To Tootin again. Here's Johnson to Dubinsky, back to Johnson. Fans want shots. Here's one from Tootin, and he missed the net. And the puck ricochets off the corner boards, held in by Johnson. 20 seconds to go in the 2-man advantage. Jack Johnson to the side of the net. Dubinsky looking across. Might pass to Tootin, might not. He shoots, stopped by Lack, stopped the rebound, got the puck as he was able to block the second attempt off the stick of Anisimov and cover up.
It's amazing to me that they had the timeout and they planned that. Marian Gaborik never touched the puck. He's the guy. Marian Gaborik's your guy. And Marian Gaborik never touches his puck in the full 2 minutes that they had. And Hanya's complaining that he had his stick tied up.
Tootin came close off the post. Glove side on Lack. Now a face-off win for Johansson. Wisniewski with a drive, and that broke the glass, or maybe not. Came off weird, that's for sure. Now a centering pass, Umberger. Couldn't pull the trigger. Puck is cleared. Then that does it for the first penalty. Santorelli up ice and almost stole it. Now he falls down as McElhaney kind of froze trying to play the puck for Columbus. Johansson in. Here's a chance for Atkinson in on goal. Stopped by the right toe of Eddie Lack. Wisniewski. Right point pass. Puck thrown on goal. Didn't get through. And Garrison clears. Here's Edler out of the box, just out of his reach. Canucks kill off the 2-man advantage. And the whistle blows.
Icing.
Oh, I thought Edler got a piece of it. Bieksa out of gas and a little shaken up.
Eddie Lack, right toe. Didn't get the pad on it, got the skate on it. What a save by Eddie Lack. I thought that play was offside to start with, but Eddie Lack forced to make a save.
John Tortorella's team was in the frying pan, but managed to stay out of the fire.
Now they're talking things over on that icing. And the face-off is...
François Saint-Laurent in discussion with John Tortorella. Tim Nowak talking to Todd Richards, and I don't think it should have been an icing call. But now they're allowing the Canucks to make a substitution, and so
if it's not an icing call, if they're having the face-off at center ice, then you can make the change.
So the Sedins come out with Santorelli. Edler and Garrison on defense. 2:35 to go in the second, a 1-1 tie. Umberger blocked that pass. Edler gets it again. Puck deflects to Garrison. Quickly ahead to Santorelli. In on the right wing. Centering pass. Daniel Sedin shoots, and that hit Savard in front. Here's Santorelli behind the goal. Pass to Henrik in front for Daniel, and he couldn't get a shot away. Blake Como in transition down the left wing. Tried to pull the puck in front, knocked away by Garrison. He's after it behind the goal. Edler's there as well. And Garrison from the corner shovels the puck ahead to Santorelli. Checked along the boards by Umberger. Garrison will try the other side with a pass to Alex Edler. 2 minutes left in the second. And here's Santorelli. Slaps a rolling puck, and that sails over top of the goal. Daniel Sedin on the other side. In deep for Santorelli. Taken down by Johnson. And the puck is cleared by Dubinsky. Atkinson was after it. Ryan Stanton winds up with the puck and banks it down into Columbus territory. Como Passing back in his own zone. That goes off a Columbus stick and over the glass. Not a penalty, just a face-off. And time for us to do our fresh take. John Garrett's fine feature. It's brought to you by Subway. It's $5 footlong time again at Subway restaurants. Enjoy a selection of footlongs for just $5 each. Subway, eat fresh.
Well, my fresh take is on penalty killing, and Eddie Lack is the biggest part of this penalty kill. Get square, get the shoulders up, and get in position, and then react. He reacts on that breakaway try. Great skate save and a fresh backup goaltender after the Canucks played last night. Roberto gets the night off, and Eddie doing his job.
Bieksa trying to move the puck out. Hansen battling Atkinson just inside the Vancouver blue line. Bieksa comes out of the pile with the puck. Carries to the Columbus blue line. Passes off. Higgins, wrist shot. Blocked. Hansen gets the puck in the corner. Centering pass. Blocked by Jenner. Higgins almost stole the puck behind the goal. Now he's after it again as we move into the final minute of the second period. Canucks with the only goal of the middle frame. Henrik Sedin on a power play. Tying it up at 1. Higgins, good work fighting for the puck. Makes a move on Tootin in the corner. Higgins one-hands the puck along the boards for Kessler. Ryan Kessler under pressure. Bieksa holds the puck into the corner for Hansen. Stanton sneaking in from the point as the puck comes back to Bieksa. Long shot kicked out. Kessler after the rebound, but cleared to Atkinson, who flips it out to center. 30 seconds to go in the second period. David Booth backhands the puck forward. Richardson was after it. He was checked. And here come the Blue Jackets. Boone Jenner with a wrist shot, gloved by Lack. He'll keep play going by dropping the puck to David Booth. 12 seconds to go in the second, and Bieksa's going to get a penalty as he fell down and then tripped up Anisimov. So a late penalty to Kevin Bieksa with 8.6 seconds to go in the second period.
Kevin Bieksa was surprised he got that pass. It was off a skate and ended up on his stick. Off a skate, and Kevin Bieksa is at center ice. Doesn't move it right away and then ends up with the tripping penalty.
Blue Jackets with a chance to set up a chance, opportunity to set up a chance if they can win the face-off, but it's drawn back by Santorelli, and the Canucks clear, so the Blue Jackets will have to hope the power play can connect early in period 3. Henrik Sedin with a goal on the man advantage for the Canucks, the only tally of the second. A workmanlike goal for the captain. Eddie Lack was much busier, stopped 14 shots, and Kevin Bieksa had a busy period as well. He'll start the third in the penalty box, hoping his team can kill off his late minor.
Welcome back to Columbus. Canucks staring down the Blue Jackets, heading into the third period. It's all squared at 1. Scoring summary is brought to you by Panago Pizza. Before, during, or after the game, get a fresh Panago. Marian Gabourik's third of the season opened the scoring first shot of the game for the Jackets in the first. Henrik Sedin, power play, long overdue. He gets his second, and we are tied.
Eddie Lack in goal for the Vancouver Canucks. I guess this guy deserves a day off every now and then when you consider the workload he's had through the course of his NHL career, John.
You look at the saves Roberto Luongo has been forced to make, and Marty Brodeur has played that much longer than Roberto, and his saves playing with New Jersey. Remember those Florida days where Roberto would be 40 shots a game? Eddie Lack is on Twitter, like at Murph Sportsnet Twitter. Eddie tweeted today that he looks forward to the back-to-back games because he might have a chance to play.
Think he'll get the St. Louis game on Friday?
I think he might get that St. Louis game on Friday. Canucks are in New Jersey Thursday, and then the 2.5-hour flight to St. Louis for Friday's game.
A period to go in this one. Two teams that both played yesterday. The Canucks an afternoon game. Columbus last night in Washington. And all even as we go to period number 3. The Canucks shorthanded. Kevin Bieksa in the penalty box for tripping, and there's still 1:52 to go in his minor penalty. So the Canucks, an important penalty kill, they hope to start the period and then move on from there. Although with Brad Richardson on the ice, who knows, with 2 of his 3 goals this season having come shorthanded. Gaborik through center and on the left wing, dumps the puck across, winds up on the stick of Alex Edler, who's able to wrist it all the way down into the Columbus zone.
Santorelli and Richardson, a nice job taking away the middle of the ice so that the Blue Jackets couldn't throw it across.
Kessler and Higgins out there now, and here comes Chris Higgins shorthanded. Tanev with him. Higgins trying to cut in front, and coming back to check him was Mark Letestu. Kessler pressuring Atkinson, who turns back in his own zone. Now starts out with a left side pass to Gaborik. There's a minute to go on the Bieksa penalty as Tootin risks the puck in from center. That hit a stanchion, comes to Dan Hamhuis, who settles the puck, hammers it off the glass and all the way down.
Took it on his backhand turn to get it on his forehand so they could get it off the glass, get it down.
Senior team take 2 delay of game penalties for pucks out of play. You have to have some courage to put it high off the glass. Sedin's out there now with just under 40 seconds to go on the Bieksa penalty. Ryan Johansson moves in, drops to Wisniewski. Left point Johnson. Jack Johnson throws one in front, and Eddie Lack with the glove grabs it as he had to fight through a screen. That was Umberger right in front of him.
We've talked about Eddie Lack and how he's been able to find the puck through the traffic of the Columbus Blue Jackets. He does a nice job. He's a tall goaltender, but he gets down low so they can look around R.J. Umberger, find it, and out goes the left hand to make the save.
28 seconds to go in the Bieksa minor. And a face-off win for Santorelli. Chris Tanev checked as he tried to clear the puck. Here's a chance in front. Umberger poke checked as Edler was able to knock the puck away. Tanev rings it around, waiting is Wisniewski. Down the boards. Johansson into the corner, gets a return pass. Now feeds down low. Puck thrown in front. Umberger couldn't make contact. Blue Jackets bobble it to the line, and it came out. So an offside call, and now just 4 seconds are what's left in the Bieksa penalty.
See Jack Johnson, and it does come out. Linesman right on it to make the call. Wisniewski and Johnson just couldn't keep it in.
Last face-off, another win for Mike Santorelli, who hasn't taken the bulk of them for the Canucks in this game, but he's lost only 1.
Ryan Kessler's been very good. He's been used more than anybody else.
Canucks back to full strength. Columbus is 0 for 5 on the power play. And the Canucks can now start thinking offense as Henrik Sedin slides the puck in behind the Blue Jackets goal. McElhaney passes to the side. Murray sends it around. Blake Como trying to move out. He's forced back. So he rings the puck to the near side, and it's picked up by R.J. Umberger. Umberger chips the puck to the corner, now moves in on Garrison. Hamhuis tried to pass to the side, and that's deflected and held in. Como feeding in deep. Here's Umberger on the near side. Down from the point is Wisniewski. Hamhuis intercepts behind the goal. Knocked down by Johansson, who comes up with the puck. Ryan Johansson tried to feed it around. Hamhuis stepped in front of that. Johansson again has the puck to the blue line to Wisniewski. Left point. Murray. Slap pass to Johansson with a backhander off the target. Ryan Johansson got a lot of velocity on that backhander, but put it wide, and Daniel Sedin shoots the puck into the Columbus zone.
I don't think he was expecting that pass. It was in his skates, and by the time he got it to his backhand, Eddie Lack was able to come over.
Close play at the blue line, broken up, and Santorelli finds Higgins. Higgins, wrist shot, handled by McElhaney. He gets the whistle, and we send it to Dan Murphy.
John, shop and swipe your club card at Safeway today. Watch future Sportsnet telecasts. And you could win a week of unlimited luxury at Dreams Resorts and Spas courtesy of redtag.ca. Not you, John, but somebody else.
Dan Hamhuis didn't expect to get shoved from behind. Johansson with a good job stripping him of the puck. And he got the puck to his backhand and just, he got a lot on it, you're right.
Looked like Eddie may have got a piece of it. Here's a centering pass. Tanev holds the puck into the blue line. Chris Higgins. Quick shift in the corner. Centers, and a quick shot by Kessler is stopped by McElhaney. Blue Jackets clear the zone.
Ron Kessler bangs his stick.
Takes a pass. Relays to Higgins. Over to Santorelli. Shoots wide. Higgins tried to wrist one in front. Fanned on it, and here's Foligno. Moving in on Tanev. Foligno cuts in front. Tanev knocked the puck away, and Isimov's after it. And he forced it wide of the goal. Santorelli checked by Gaborik. Now Foligno from the corner. Nick Foligno to David Savard. Over to Jack Johnson. Foligno back to Johnson, and the pass for Savard out of his reach. Canucks have 3 to center if they want to stay out. It's the end of the shift. Kessler breaks in. Santorelli's with him, and Kessler tried a drag move and lost the puck. Blue Jackets the other way. Centering feed. Anisimov off the target. Savard holds the puck in. Atkinson from behind the goal. Leads for Nick Foligno. Bieksa's on him. Atkinson takes the pass behind the goal. Chips it out the other side. Intercepted by Cassian, who threw it up the middle, and it's held into the blue line. Here's Atkinson cutting in front. And Lack forced to the goal line, but a goal line stand for Eddie Lack. After the puck was turned over at the blue line, and the Blue Jackets worked it down low for a power move at the side of the goal.
Well, every now and then, Zach Cassian makes a play like that, and you say, come on, Zach, you have to think about it. He gave up the puck at the blue line, and it almost ends up back in the net. Chris Tanev one-on-one. Good stick, get it out. And Nick Foligno, just no play. Ryan Kessler, bang, play, and both backup goaltenders have really played well in this one.
Shots 25 for Vancouver, 18 for Columbus. But 16-12 for the Blue Jackets since the first period. Here's Daniel Sedin sifting his way into the zone in front and looking for a deflection was Santorelli, who's seeing a lot of ice. Atkinson the other way. Tips the puck in. Jenner moves in after it. Broken up, and Garrison sends the puck ahead. Here's Henrik Sedin. Flips the puck in on the right wing. Santorelli couldn't come up with it. And the Blue Jackets throw a long one to center to Boone Jenner. Leaves for Cam Atkinson, back for Jenner. Knocked down by Bieksa, who chips the puck to the blue line. Long shot from there by Prout. And handling that with the glove was Eddie Lack, who gets the whistle. Check out NHL Week Ahead on Sportsnet.ca to read reviews and preview players to watch and games in the coming week.
Read our good friend Darren Millard's blog. He blogs on Sportsnet.ca.
Murph blogs.
Takes him 3 days, doesn't it, to write a blog? Oh, I shouldn't say that.
Took him 3 years to write a book. I watched him do it day after day on the airplane, on the road trips. Oh, there's a penalty coming up to Jared Boll, who hit Kevin Bieksa in the head at center.
And both referees had their arms up right away.
Gave Bieksa a shot. And Boll will head to the penalty box.
Kevin Bieksa comes across. It's a stick.
Normally they don't call the follow through. We saw one just the other day. The Canucks. I can't remember who it was, but you could hear the referee clearly yell, follow through. And I think that's what Todd Richards is upset about. You can see by the gestures.
Well, and Brad Richardson is going off also. So was one referee's arm up in the air for a penalty to Richardson?
I guess so. They definitely both had their arms up. They just showed a replay on the big screen here, and that's what Todd Richards is reacting to. So here's the Richardson penalty. It came just a millisecond before
the
Boll's stick hit Bieksa. So a slash and a high stick put the game to 4-on-4.
Coach's challenge.
You and your coach's challenge.
You were watching football all day today.
Yeah, I'm about ready to.
And the coach's challenge were everywhere.
I know you love the idea.
I do like the idea.
Coincidental minors, albeit unrelated ones. Somewhat unrelated. They happen in this exact same area of the ice, and it's 4-on-4. Here's Tootin, wrist shot, blocker save, Eddie Lack. Henrik Sedin picks up the puck, brings it to center. He's got Tanev going to the net. Henrik brings the puck to the front and slides one wide of the goal. Tanev collects it in the corner. Back to Edler, who shoots, stick save by Macklin. He's behind him, and it just trickled wide. He didn't know where the puck was, and it didn't miss by much. I can tell you it wasn't in the net. Now McElhinney stops a long shot and gathers the puck, and there'll be a face-off in the Columbus zone.
Alex Edler almost had another funny one. A good shot. Curtis McElhinney made the save, but as he was backing up, he almost put the puck in his own net. Henrik Sedin with a good play. Chris Tanev drags it down. Alex Edler's shot. Now, he has no idea where it is. It's off his leg and just rolls wide. Off the pad and just wide.
Still tied here in Columbus. Close call for the Canucks, but McElhinney and the Blue Jackets in a 1-1 draw.
From Columbus tonight, travel to Long Island tomorrow for a game Tuesday against the Islanders. Our last trip to Nassau County Coliseum, guys.
That's right.
That's where I played all my All-Star games in the NHL.
Yes. Someday we'll relive that story. 4-on-4 for another minute 15. As Dan Hanhughes sends Chris Higgins in. Wrist shot blocker save McElhinney. Up with the puck is Murray. And a pass to Dubinsky, who drops the puck back into his own zone. Wisniewski on the near side ahead to Atkinson. In over the Vancouver line with a wrist shot that deflects off Hanhughes into the corner. Atkinson comes up with the puck there, but he splits the uprights on the pass to the blue line, and Blue Jackets have to retreat to their own zone. Wisniewski up the far side, Bieksa diving to try to hold the puck in, but it just came out, and the whistle blows to the offside.
Chris Higgins not afraid to shoot the puck. Left-hand shot coming down the right wing, not a bad angle, and again, Curtis McElhinney with a good save off the blocker.
Here's another face-off opportunity for Mike Santorelli, who's won 6 of 7 in the game so far. Against Ryan Johansson, who's come back after a tough start. This one, Santorelli winds up with. Johansson broke his stick. He's fetching a new one as Edler lets go with a wrist shot off the left wing, gloved by McElhinney.
Alex Edler looked good in Pittsburgh, but the first game back after that 3-game suspension, a lot of adrenaline and back-to-back games. Still the leading ice time man for the Canucks.
I can't believe this is true with over half a period to go, but according to the statistical sheet, Edler's already played over 31 minutes. You buying that?
No, I'm not.
Here's Ryan Johansson. Pass at the Vancouver blue line. Johnson was just onside as Anisimov moved in on the left wing. Loose puck in the corner. Edler sends it around to Kevin Bieksa. Ahead to Santorelli. In with Jannik Hansen. Santorelli slows, spins, still has the puck. Now he's knocked down. Savard takes it away and fires over to Anisimov. Richardson's out of the box. Teams are back to full strength. There's Jared Boll, who is also in the penalty box. Pass back to Bieksa, who finds Hanhughes. In on the left wing, Dan Hanhughes had that shot go off the toe of his stick. Blue Jackets send the puck ahead, and here's Boll. Moving in on Hanhughes. Hanhughes steps into him, pass for Letestu, deflects to the far corner. Foligno there, reverses to the near side. David Booth able to poke the puck out to center, and Boll is back to collect. Pass disrupted, here's Kassian, stopped by McElhinney, as Zach Kassian intercepted the pass and had a great chance in close.
Talked about Zach Kassian making the bad defensive play in his own zone. Here's a good offensive play. Get in the passing lane, steal the puck, and again, Curtis McElhinney right there to make the save. By the time Zach was able to control it, he was in very close. The puck was rolling. Couldn't get a whole lot on it. Alex Edler, after 2 periods, was listed at 15:24.
Yeah, it's just corrected itself. It went from 31 minutes to 18. Sounds a little better.
That sounds more like it.
Canucks have a line of Henrik Sedin, Chris Higgins, and Jannik Hansen out there. Hansen upended, his man stole the puck. Now he cuts in, centers Higgins, and knocking the pass away was Blake Como, just as Higgins was ready to fire the puck to the open side. Henrik Sedin diagonally back. Edler, wrist swung. McElhinney the save, and Johansson is out with the puck for Columbus. Pass up the left wing to Como, and he flips the puck into the Vancouver zone. Edler goes back up the near side for Higgins. We're past the 9-minute mark, third period, a 1-1 tie. Higgins across his own blue line to Chris Tanev, back to Edler. That one right onto the tape of Como, and he comes back the other way. But his drop pass is right onto the stick of Mike Santorelli. Here's Kessler up the left wing. Had to look down to find the puck. That allowed Wisniewski to step up and check it. And Ryan Murray winds up with it for Columbus. Wisniewski up the middle, tipped away by Daniel Sedin, and here he comes with Kessler and Santorelli. Daniel drops for Kessler, slap shot over top of the net. Hanhus holds the puck in on the left wing. Works it to Santorelli in the corner, in deep for Dan Hanhus. Behind the net for Kessler, broken up by Anisimov. Wisniewski winds up with the puck, puts it off the glass, and out to the Vancouver blue line. We're halfway through the third. 1-1 tie. And this will be an icing call against Vancouver with 9:52 to go in the third.
Canucks trying to force the issue here with under 10 minutes left. Jannik Hansen, good hard forecheck, steals the puck. Blake Como, who came to training camp with no contract here in Columbus on a tryout. What a great defensive play that was. He stayed right with Chris Higgins and was able to tip that pass across.
Blue Jackets win a draw in the Vancouver zone. After the icing call, here's Dubinsky round the net. Now reverses, tries to tuck it in the side, and he gets the left pad down. Dubinsky jamming away, and it stayed out, I guess. Everybody looking intently to try to find that puck, but it would appear Eddie Lack was able to hold it out with the left toe. Close call there, as Dubinsky faked one way and went the other, and the pileup ensued.
Return home, they'll take on Alex Ovechkin, the Capitals, Monday, October 28th, followed closely by a visit from the Red Wings on October 30th. Tickets still available for both these incredible matchups. Visit Canucks.com/tickets to book your seats today.
Eddie Lack gets that left skate down. Brandon Dubinsky tries to jam away, and you can see the puck's right there, and it does not. Francois Saint-Laurent.
Fans here in an uproar after they saw the replay. And they're showing it over and over again. As the puck is thrown in front, and Atkinson missed it as he took a swipe of the rebound. Still 1-1. David Booth into the Columbus zone. Pass for Richardson was off the mark. And back come the Jackets with Boone Jenner. Puck slides through to Lack, and he'll cover it with Dubinsky moving in, and the fans in full voice again. They think it should have been a goal.
It was reviewed in Toronto. As we all know, the entire puck has to be across the line. And referee Francois Saint-Laurent was right on top of it.
The determination from the on-ice officials in concert with the people in Toronto was that the whistle had blown. And once you do that, then that's the referee's discretion, whether any replay shows the puck over the line or not. If the whistle had blown, or if the referee had the intention of blowing the whistle, the play is dead. Blue Jackets probably wishing that the whistle had blown on Henrik Sedin's goal in the second. As they move in, Umberger scores! A perfect pass from Ryan Johansson put Umberger in the clear, and the Blue Jackets have a 2-1 lead.
On the breakout, Johansson has it. The puck's rolling. He settles it down and then makes a beautiful pass to R.J. Umberger, who's in behind Chris Higgins, who is backing up. And Chris Higgins not the defenseman, so when he turned, Umberger just flew by him and then slides it through Eddie Lack.
First of the year for R.J. Umberger. And the Blue Jackets have their second lead of the hockey game with just over 8.5 minutes remaining. Wisniewski plays the puck to the far side. Murray is there ahead to Foligno. Makes a pass at center for Anisimov, who moves to the Vancouver line on the right wing and backhands it around to the far corner. Blue Jackets working to hold the puck in, but Hansen is away with a pass to Dan Hamhuis. Hamhuis to the far side. Santorelli passes behind the net, picked off by Anisimov, who gets the puck ahead to Marian Gaborik. Dalton Prout gets the second assist on the go-ahead goal for Umberger. Battle for the puck deep in the Vancouver zone. It's worked free to Kevin Bieksa, and he skates it to center. Cassian off the bench to join him. He'll move in and chase after the Bieksa dump in. Savard kicks the puck to the near side. Richardson bumps his man. Long shot by Stanton, and a glove save by McElhinney, who hangs on for the whistle.
Chris Higgins is sitting on the bench, but he ended up being the defenseman on this play. Chris Tanev pinches in, so Higgins is going back now. He has to cover for Tanev. Alex Edler is there, and that's a problem when you get a forward back there as the defenseman. It's a little tougher. Dan Hamhuis skated to the box and was looked at by Mike Bernstein.
7.5 minutes left. 2-1 Columbus. Atkinson cuts wide right. Wrist shot. Blocked it away confidently by Eddie Lack. Picking up the puck is David Booth. He flips it in and chases after it, but McElhinney was able to glove the puck and get a whistle.
One of the things John Tortorella has preached from day one is if you're going to make a mistake on the aggressive side of the puck, and there was Chris Tanev pinching in deep almost to the corner, and Chris Higgins ended up back on the blue line.
I'm not sure the coaches actually used the mantra "safe is death" here, but that was the Tampa Bay days.
Yes.
Henrik Sedin out with Kessler and Higgins as Tanev flips the puck ahead. Glove down by Kessler. Shovels it over. Alex Edler moves down the left side. Tried a wrist shot. That was blocked. Kessler takes a chop at the puck. Henrik Sedin after it now. Batted out of the air by the Blue Jackets with a high stick. And Como the next to touch, so there'll be a face-off deep in the Blue Jacket zone.
Canucks now have to try and force the issue, so there's 4 guys in deep. Hit with the high stick, and then Como touches it. Face off deep in the Columbus zone.
Still ample time for the Canucks. Over 6.5 minutes left in the third. They've had 10 shots in this period. Face-off win, another one for Santorelli, who's 9-2 on the draw. Hansen behind the net to the side, and a quick shot. Didn't find the mark. Daniel Sedin didn't waste any time shooting that one. Hansen able to get it back to Hamhuis. Garrison with a drive. What a stop by McElhinney, who may have been bumped by Daniel Sedin cutting through the crease. Play goes on. Hansen in front. Loose puck. Santorelli's after it. Hansen along the left wing. Back to Hamhuis. He puts one on goal. That hit a body in front. Santorelli fights for the puck. It comes over to Foligno. He's bodied by Daniel Sedin. Murray trying to move it out. Slides ahead to Gaborik, and he finds Foligno. Blue Jackets in transition. Foligno checked by Garrison, who now tries to move the puck forward, but the Blue Jackets send it in deep. Looked from here like McElhinney made that save off Garrison on a rocket from the point while contending with traffic in front. Jack Johnson lost the handle. Edler moves down from the blue line, but he loses the puck, and now he has to hustle back. Atkinson with Kessler back playing defense. Wrist shot attempt blocked by Kevin Bieksa. Under 5.5 minutes to go. Canucks trailing 2-1. Brandon Dubinsky. Wrist one. Right pad save by Lack. Johnson with room at the point. He lets one go. A knuckler that Lack stopped. Rebound, he stopped that as well. Another shot to the crease off a skate. After Lack stopped both Johnson and Dubinsky in quick succession. Henrik Sedin dumps the puck in from center. With 5 minutes to go. And the Canucks trailing by a goal. Johansson on the forecheck. Steals the puck from Tanev. Johansson brings it in front. Loose in the crease. Garrison able to work it to the corner. And it's played around to the near side by Zach Cassian. Booth takes a hard hit from Como. Garrison under pressure from Johansson. Puck picked up by Chris Tanev. Plays it around for Kassian. He couldn't move it out. Held in by R.J. Umberger. Johansson has Garrison lined up. Plays it to the line and brought in offside by Dalton Prout. 4.5 to go. Canucks trailing by 1, but they sure came close as McElhinney faced down Garrison from the point.
Family to a Canucks game with the Family Nights Packs, presented by Cineplex and QMFM. Tickets starting at $42 plus service charge. The pack also includes 4 free Cineplex movie passes, 2 theater popcorn vouchers, and a team store discount. Visit Canucks.com/Family Nights to book yours today.
Canucks have 4 minutes, 27 seconds to try to manufacture an equalizing goal. After R.J. Umberger put Columbus on top here in the third. Daniel Sedin working for the puck in his own zone. Able to come up with it. Throws one to the far side. Hansen lifts the stick of Tootin, but Tootin able to ward off the check. Santorelli comes in after the puck. Tootin's on him. So's Jenner. Puck comes to Jannik Hansen. Feeds back, but Bieksa couldn't hold the puck in. And under 4 minutes remain in the third. Edler into the middle, just offside on a pass that Hansen couldn't quite handle anyway.
Canucks hockey on Sportsnet. Brought to you by Subway. It's $5 footlong time again at Subway restaurants. Enjoy a selection of footlongs for just $5 each. Subway, eat fresh.
Under 4 minutes to go as Henrik Sedin comes out with Chris Higgins and Ryan Kessler. Blue Jackets work the puck deep into the Vancouver zone. Johansson throws a hit on Hamhuis and gets back up to chip the puck to Ryan Kessler. Kessler flips one forward. Higgins giving chase on the left wing in the Columbus zone. Makes a move in the corner. Higgins being worked over by Wisniewski. Higgins keeps after the puck. Now it's Como on him. Kessler to Henrik Sedin. To the left point, Hamhuis. He throws one around to the far corner. Kessler chases after Wisniewski. Umberger trying to move the puck out. Comes to the blue line to Henrik Sedin. Makes a move around Umberger. Passes for Garrison. Now to Henrik again. Henrik cross-check to the ice by Como. Gets back up. Henrik goes behind the net. Steps around the official. Banks the puck to himself. Out the near side. Puts it to the crease. And it winds up at the right point on the stick of Garrison. Jason Garrison moves to the middle. Now to the left point. Garrison down to Hamhuis. Dan Hamhuis, fan on his centering pass. He's got it again. Coming up front with a quick shot. Stopped by McElhinney. Blue Jackets looking a little tired. Garrison long drive. Glove save McElhinney. And importantly for his team, he hangs on to allow a change with 2.5 minutes to go.
Henrik Sedin is so smart, and he does so many things by instinct. Has the puck behind the net. The shallower nets are a little flatter. It's easier to do that. So Henrik passed to himself and then brings it out in front for the scoring chance.
Santorelli against Letestu on the face-off in the Columbus zone. Puck comes to Daniel Sedin. Now Santorelli has it with some room. Sharp angle shot stopped by McElhinney. Daniel Sedin quickly hooks the puck to the blue line. Alex Edler there. Tried a wrist shot. Now we got a goaltender interference call, I think. Let's see. No signal. Don Van Massenhoven blue played down. Anytime you see the goalie down, you assume it's a penalty.
It's Jack Johnson and Jannik Hansen are in front. Jannik Hansen gets thrown on top of McElhinney, who had his foot taken out.
So, well, I'll look at the replay later, and you can explain to me the rationale for stopping the play. Daniel Sedin off the draw, carries to the corner. Spinning to get away from McKenzie, puts one to the side. McElhinney able to grab it with 2:11 to go. Can the Canucks come back? Stick around to find out. In the meanwhile, here's the game summary brought to you by The Brick. Nobody beats The Brick for furniture, mattresses, appliances, and big screen TVs.
Henrik gets that power play goal, and it continues his streak. Marian Gaborik on the first shot of the game for the Blue Jackets.
Shot by Bieksa, blocked. Santorelli, and he's stopped by McElhinney after another big face-off win by Mike Santorelli. Here come the Blue Jackets. Gaborik has McKenzie in front. Bieksa sprawled to block the pass. Puck cleared ahead, and Daniel Sedin has room at center. Daniel might wait for Bieksa. The trailer takes the pass. He shoots, and that hit a body in front. Lack's gone to the bench. Canucks with the extra attacker. Long shot. Hit a body in front. Santorelli spins. Comes back to the blue line. Bieksa to the other side. Edler dumps the puck in deep for Daniel Sedin. Henrik is the extra skater. He missed the puck. Blue Jackets get it by Bieksa and down, but that'll be icing. Columbus has already taken its timeout. And there's a minute 30 to go. Do the Canucks take theirs, or do they try to hope for some tired legs?
I think they're going to just keep it going here. Mike Santorelli, who has just been on fire in the faceoff circle, another faceoff win. And the shot stopped by Curtis McElhinney.
And Canucks do take a timeout. Santorelli, who's been a spark plug again tonight, had been out there a while. Henrik Sedin was somewhat fresh, but Daniel had been out there for some time.
And now you can put the threesome you want out. Instead of, it's been mix and match some of the lines. So Daniel Sedin just played the shift before that. He was tired.
You assume it'll be both Sedins and Ryan Kessler. Probably Edler and Garrison on defense. Now you just have to pick another forward. Maybe a Higgins, maybe a Santorelli the way he's played. But he seemed a little tired when he went to the bench after that sequence.
Mike Sullivan directing traffic.
Looks like it will be Higgins coming out to join the other three. Pardon me, it's 5 forwards and Jason Garrison. So Santorelli gets the call as well. Both Sedins, Higgins and Kessler. And Garrison, the lone defenseman. Puck to the sideboards. Daniels onto it. Tried to put it in front. Comes to Kessler at the side of the goal. He spins behind the net. Turns to the backhand. Puts it in front. It comes back to Garrison. Minute 20 to go. Henrik Sedin looking in front. Pass back to Garrison. Left point feed. Daniel Sedin over to Garrison. Couldn't shoot it. He had a Blue Jacket right on him. Holds the puck in, however. Now it's backhanded ahead. And the Blue Jackets a chance to move it out. Empty net for McKenzie, but the puck got away from him. McKenzie tips it around to the far corner. Gaborik is there. Final minute. Henrik Sedin hits Gaborik and frees up the puck for Kessler. Ahead to Daniel Sedin. Daniel in on the left wing. Plays the puck to the other side. Kessler's after it. He reverses. Here's a chance in front. Higgins, what a save by McElhinney with the right pad. Chris Higgins thought he had a gimme. Now the Blue Jackets are offside, but they'll clear the zone to allow the clock to continue to run. Chris Higgins thought he had the equalizing goal on his stick, and McElhinney stoned him. Now the puck goes out of play at the Columbus bench, but they say it deflected, so the faceoff will be outside the blue line.
Well, Curtis McElhinney would be first star in this game. Ryan Johansson's been the best forward for the Blue Jackets. A bang-bang play, and Curtis McElhinney stretches that right pad 2 inches higher than Chris Higgins has the goal. Shaking his head on the bench.
Verbalizing what Canuck Nation is feeling. And off the draw, the Blue Jackets get the puck. Here's Johansson, empty net, and the Blue Jackets will win. The Port Moody product puts a dagger into this one. Assisted on the go-ahead goal, and he pots the empty netter as the Blue Jackets go up 3-1.
Blue Jackets are starting a 4-game homestand, play 8 of their next 9 here in Columbus, and didn't look like they really cared that first period when they were outshot so badly, but have come on here. And Ryan Johansson leading the way gets the empty netter.
His second goal to go with his assist. Maybe his mom being in town is a good luck charm. It's Chris Higgins can still only shake his head at what might have been an inch or two, and maybe we're getting ready for overtime, but it's Johansson into the empty net. Lack comes back in for the final seconds of the hockey game, and the Canucks will suffer their first regulation loss of this road trip. McElhinney gets a late whistle with just over 14 seconds to go, but Vancouver on the cusp of falling to 2-1-1 with 3 games to go on the trip.
Sergei Bobrovsky has struggled by his standards this year. Curtis McElhinney playing this game, and he has been absolutely great. Bobrovsky has let in almost a goal a game more than he did last year. And now they have some confidence in this 30-year-old backup goaltender. Maybe he'll get to play a little more.
Here's Nick Foligno. And another whistle with 5.9 seconds to go. So one last drop of the puck before the Canucks head to the dressing room and get ready to take on the Islanders on Tuesday. Curtis McElhinney's first NHL game since December 31st, 2011, when he won a game for the Phoenix Coyotes. But he's back in the bigs, and he's got a W and a huge late save off that man, Chris Higgins. McElhinney, one of the 37 stops he made, and the Blue Jackets win it 3-1.
Feder Tootin brought the puck back and gave it to Curtis McElhinney, his first win as a Columbus Blue Jacket. And the only goal to beat him was that disputed one by Henrik Sedin.
Much deserved congratulations for Curtis McElhinney. The Blue Jackets have ended their 4-game losing streak, and they've handed the Canucks their first outright loss of this road trip. 4 down, 3 to go.